Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Atlantic Council President and CEO, Mr. Fred Kempe.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this warm-up event for the Indiana GOP and Democratic primary returns. Just kidding. By your presence here tonight, you demonstrate either your exasperation with the primaries thus far, or your support for the Atlantic Council mission of galvanizing U.S. constructive leadership alongside our most important friends and allies around the world to secure the future. If you are here because you're exasperated with the primaries and didn't want to stay home and watch television, then I won't relay to you that most of the major news outlets have declared Donald Trump as the winner this evening by a 20-point margin thus far with the returning districts. And I won't tell you that no one has called yet the Democratic primary, but with 9% returning, it's about 51 to 49 for Secretary Clinton. But since you haven't come here to know about that, I won't tell you about it. But because you've come here to celebrate the Atlantic Council and its mission, I will tell you about that. So in that spirit, we welcome you to the Atlantic Council's 2016 Distinguished Leadership Awards Dinner. This year is particularly meaningful as we celebrate the 20th anniversary of this award, and we celebrate the 55th anniversary of the Atlantic Council, born in the first year of the Kennedy administration in 1961. And look around you. What an amazing audience. More than 750 guests from 50 countries, including former heads of state and government, legislators, top Obama administration officials, some 40 ambassadors, countless business executives, media, civil society leaders, and one world-renowned tenor. Benvenuto, Vittorio. To kick us off, it is my great pleasure to invite to the stage the chairman of the Atlantic Council Board of Directors, Governor John Huntsman, a man who embodies the Atlantic Council's nonpartisan ethos, its results-oriented ability to get the job done, and its commitment to decency and to integrity. Governor Huntsman.
Thank you, Fred, and thank you for reminding all of us about the primary tonight. I'll be tuning out of the primary personally. Don't hold it against me, but I was accused of tuning out of primaries when I actually ran for president 4 years ago. So that's nothing new for me. I want to thank Fred, who for a Utah boy is pretty good at calming down and managing very sophisticated audiences. So Fred, we love you, you're terrific. And to Pamela, who's here, and Jojo, who's probably at home, I know they love you too. So ladies and gentlemen and distinguished guests and friends, welcome to the Atlantic Council's Distinguished Leadership Awards Dinner. As mentioned, this is a record-breaking turnout. This is a big deal. We've got over 40 ambassadors here who are serving in Washington, which I got thinking is probably even better than the turnout for the State of the Union when you stop to think about it. That's pretty darn good. I'm here with family, and I want to salute them. My wife, Mary Kay, is here. My daughter, Mary Ann, is here. My son, Will, in uniform, is down here. He's celebrating a very special occasion today. It was his last class at the U.S. Naval Academy that he'll ever take. Now, here's the tricky part. He's not supposed to be away from the yard tonight. I assured him that there wouldn't be anybody here tonight from the military-industrial complex. So he should be safe. On the 55th anniversary of the Atlantic Council's founding, We're here to celebrate four remarkable individuals. We're so excited about those who you'll be learning more about later on because they exemplify leadership, vision, and character, the kind of attributes needed to lead in today's turbulent times. Together, the United States, Europe, and our allies and friends worldwide face one of the most volatile geopolitical environments in recent memory. Seldom has the world been so urgent in need of the kind of leadership that we're celebrating here tonight. So when we gathered exactly a year ago, the world confronted a host of challenges, including a revanchist Russia exerting pressures on Europe's east, and non-state extremist factions spreading violence throughout the Middle East and North Africa. Today, 12 months later, Ukraine's sovereignty is still menaced by Russia, and the bloodshed and instability in the Middle East persists. Europe's solidarity continues to be plagued by an unprecedented set of tests, tearing at the continent's fabric and endangering Europe's place on the global stage. And all the while, new challenges persist. We see the rise in global populist movements, characterized by anti-democratic rhetoric, fueled by a surge in terrorism and sectarian tensions. We're grappling with a migrant crisis of historic dimensions, and we must adapt to the reality of China's rise. Perhaps the most daunting challenge of all, though, when you stop to think of it, is the shortage of long-term strategic thinking and leadership to navigate these complex times. It remains unclear whether our key institutions, or indeed our leaders, will be able to rise to these new challenges or simply be overwhelmed by them. So tonight we recognize the accomplishments of four outstanding individuals. We hope to advance a far more ambitious form of leadership that is equal to the challenges of our times. Beyond that, we celebrate the fundamental conviction that through common purpose and inspired leadership, together we can forge better outcomes for the future. In that spirit, tonight we honor Robert Gates, former U.S. Secretary of Defense and former CIA Director, for his exceptional leadership and lifetime commitment to public service. Having served in both Republican and Democratic administrations, Secretary Gates embodies the bipartisan spirit the Atlantic Council represents. And besides that, he's a fellow Eagle Scout, which is the best thing of all. We salute Henry Kravis, co-chairman and co-CEO of Kohlberg, Kravis, Roberts and Company, for his groundbreaking work in private equity. He wrote the book. For his impressive philanthropic leadership alongside his great wife, economist Marie-José Kravis, along with daughter Kimberly. And besides all that, my son-in-law calls him boss. So the Huntsmans tonight are on best behavior. And we honor tonight General Joseph Votel, former commander of U.S. Special Operations Command and new commander of U.S. Central Command, for his steadfast leadership of special operators at a time of global turbulence. And we celebrate Vittorio Grigolo. I think I got that right. The renowned Italian tenor, for the inspiration of his exceptional vocal and dramatic talents, and his breathtaking performances, which have received widespread global acclaim. Finally, it is a privilege to also be joined this evening by some of the most accomplished strategic minds in America's recent history. With us in this room, we have three of my predecessors as Atlantic Council chairman, each of whom contributed significantly to the Atlantic Council's success and to positioning the United States as a beacon for freedom and prosperity around the world. General Brent Scowcroft, General Jim Jones, and Secretary Chuck Hagel. Thank you all for being here tonight, and I'd like to invite the three of these very special people to stand up while we salute them for everything they continue to do to advance the Atlantic Council's mission. General Scowcroft, General Jones, Secretary Hagel, let us give you a salute, please. Of course, General Scowcroft, General Jones, and Secretary Hagel didn't do it alone. We, as chairman, have had the great fortune to work shoulder to shoulder with President and CEO Fred Kempe. Fred, as most of you know, operates with a level of energy and targeted vision that have propelled this organization forward in ways that most would have deemed absolutely impossible decades ago. Notwithstanding the fact that we come from rival high schools in Salt Lake City, we've been able to get along reasonably well. We've created a template for operational peace within the Atlantic Council that we think has great applicability throughout the world. So Fred, thank you for your leadership, for working tirelessly and brilliantly to advance the Council's mission, and for convening this remarkable community that we're here to celebrate tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, Fred Kempe.
You know, I only have one answer to that, Governor Huntsman. Go Skyline Eagles. It is true that Governor Huntsman was the governor of Utah. It is true that I'm from Utah. It's also true that General Brent Scowcroft's from Ogden, Utah. I think this overwhelming Utah influence on the Atlantic Council is one of the reasons why we have not suffered from this anti-establishment backlash. Governor, thank you so much for your remarks. Thank you for everything you do for the Atlantic Council. It really is such an honor to work with you and to work with Mary Kay. Thank you so much for you as well. I'd like to recognize several key individuals before we go forward. We're joined by three former heads of state, all of whom sit on the Atlantic Council's International Advisory Board. I'd ask you gentlemen to stand, receive our applause, and if you could hold till I finish their names. Shaukat Aziz, former Prime Minister of Pakistan. Alexander Kwasniewski, former President of Poland. Karl Bildt, former Prime Minister of Sweden. And he comes here with a large Swedish delegation, including Jacob Marcus and Peter Wallenberg. We have more Swedes in the audience than we have ever had before, even more than there are Utahns. But it's great to have you all here. We are joined by 5 cabinet ministers from friends and allies of the United States. I'd ask you also to stand and hold your applause until we've finished the list of 5. Miro Kovac, Minister of Foreign and European Affairs of the Republic of Croatia. Achato Bulama Kane, Minister of Planning of the Republic of Niger. Karim Kate, Chairman of the Commission on National Defense, Security, and Civil Protection of the Republic of Mali. Uhumudu Mahamudu, Minister of the Presidency and Chief of Staff, Republic of Niger. Brownie Sumakai, Minister of National Defense of Liberia. Before you applaud these people, you may have noticed that 4 of these ministers are from Africa. This just underscores that we have one of the strongest Africa centers of any organization in the United States under Dr. Peter Pham. And salute all of the ministers here. We also have several former Atlantic Council awardees in the audience. You can see a full list on page 36 of your programs. And please stand as I read your names. Again, please hold your applause. Tom Enders of Airbus. Secretary Chuck Hagel is backstage, about to come out. Marillyn Hewson of Lockheed Martin. General Jim Jones. General David Petraeus. Lord Robertson of Port Ellen, General Brent Scowcroft, Senator John Warner, I'd also like to ask all members of the Atlantic Council Board of Directors and International Advisory Board to rise so I can thank you personally and we can all thank you for everything you do every day for the Atlantic Council. Without you, none of this would work. Please stand, board members and International Advisory Board members. This is my favorite moment of the evening. I want all Atlantic Council staff and fellows to rise. Many of them are out in the hallways helping you come in, taking care of you on your way out. But I would like you all to rise. You are the best in the business, and each year you grow stronger. You work with a pace and a purposefulness that is unique in our industry. I'm so proud to work with you. Thank you so much. Please stand up. As previously noted, this year we celebrate our 55th anniversary. As the world has changed, so too has the Atlantic Council. Thanks to the help of so many of you in this room, we as an institution have never had this robust of capabilities. We've grown tenfold over the last decade and more. Yet we may be facing the most complex set of challenges in our half-century history. We believe that the world faces a defining moment as important as the end of World War I, the end of World War II, the end of the Cold War. We are driven at the Atlantic Council by a conviction that if the United States shapes the future constructively, alongside our closest allies and friends, we can forge one of the most enlightened, secure, and prosperous periods of world history, fueled by human advance that is empowered by technological and scientific progress. Alternatively, if we fail to lead and combine forces effectively, less benevolent forces or chaos will fill the void. Witness Ukraine, witness Syria. For us at the Atlantic Council, this is not just rhetoric. Each day, across our 10 programs and centers, we execute projects, convene communities, generate ideas, and explore strategies aimed at securing a better future. I've never liked the term think tank. It begins with thinking, but then you have to take it so much further. In that spirit, it is my pleasure to turn the stage to a man who has devoted his life to the sort of nonpartisan, principled leadership the Atlantic Council represents. Our first introducer of the evening, the 24th United States Secretary of Defense, Chuck Hagel. In addition to being the first enlisted soldier and the first Vietnam veteran to serve as Secretary of Defense, Secretary Hagel was co-chairman of the President's Intelligence Advisory Board, was a two-term U.S. Senator from Nebraska, and a successful, highly successful business leader. He was twice decorated with a Purple Heart for his service in Vietnam. He served as the Atlantic Council's chairman from 2009 to 2013. He might think working alongside me deserved a third Purple Heart. It was a time of remarkable growth and transformation for the organization. He retains his ties to the Council as distinguished statesman, a member of our International Advisory Board, and a member of the Advisory Council of the Rafik Hariri Center for the Middle East. As Jim Jones, Brent Scowcroft, Zbigniew Brzezinski, and Frank Carlucci once wrote of Secretary Hagel, he is a rare example of a public servant willing to rise above partisan politics and advance the interests of the United States and its friends and its allies. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Secretary Chuck Hagel to present our first award of the evening.
Fred, thank you very much, and good evening. I feel at home being up here because this is an organization that I so strongly believe in and have been so proud to be part of. So to all of you who continuously support this organization, thank you. It is an organization of great purpose and character. I want to begin my remarks this evening by recognizing and congratulating the awardees tonight. Each, as you have heard from Governor Huntsman and Fred, are not only worthy recipients, but important leaders and have been important leaders in this country and in the world for a long time. And to each of them, my heartfelt congratulations, and in particular to my predecessor at the Pentagon and friend who I've collaborated with over the years, Bob Gates. And to you, Bob, and to all of you, we're very proud of you, and thank you for what you continue to do for our country and the world. My assignment tonight is one that brings me great pleasure and pride, one that is essentially an easy assignment, and that is to introduce you to our evening's first honoree, General Joe Votel, who has been noted, and you will see in your programs, and most all of you know him, all of you know who he is. He is the new commander of our Central Command, the most complicated, difficult, dangerous area of responsibility in the world. He comes at this job with a considerable amount of experience. But experience, as we all know, is not everything that defines leaders. There's more to it than that. And I've always thought, regardless of the leadership position, regardless of the endeavor, that there are three requisites for leadership. One is character, two is courage, and three is judgment. And if those three components are there, along with the experience and the other dimensions of the completeness of an individual, then you have a real leader. And in General Votel, he possesses all of those characteristics. He is a humble Minnesotan. He really represents the aspect of quiet confidence of leadership as much as anyone that I've ever worked with. I had the privilege to work with General Votel when I was at the Pentagon, and always found him checking the boxes on each of those areas that I noted. He, in particular, as leader of our Special Operations Command, recognized the partnership of our Special Operations people in a complicated world that's going to continue to become more complicated. The partnership with our conventional forces. And sometimes not enough credit is given to that partnership. And for each to be effective, they each have to be effective in their own way. But if they're both effective together, a real partnership, which General Votel has understood from the beginning, it's a powerful entity. It's a powerful dynamic in our national security enterprise. He also does something that is a trademark of real leaders, and that he gives credit to others. He is an individual who is always acknowledging what others have done and allows those individuals to soar and to develop. He's a tremendous role model and mentor to those who have served under him. His respect is as widespread, not just in our armed forces, but in our diplomatic corps around the world, as any leader we have today. He represents the best. He represents the best of our country first, and of our military and of our national defense enterprise. And he understands his awesome responsibilities. I would go on, could go on, but I think at this point I am going to, here in a moment, call your attention to a special video on General Votel that will tell you a little bit more about him. You know from your program about his preparations to become the new leader of our Central Command, the command positions that he has had, the tough assignments, all have been responded to with not only diligence, but with the capacity to do it the right way. And there is a difference, as we all know, in just succeeding and succeeding the right way. And he's done it the right way. And he has earned the trust that we have all put in his leadership and who he is as an individual. Ladies and gentlemen, before I ask General Votel to come out and accept this honor, this award tonight from the Atlantic Council, if you would pay some attention to the screens, in particular note, it talks more about this particularly amazing American leader. Ladies and gentlemen, the screens. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, General Joseph Votel. Now that General Votel has acquired the hardware, we will ask him to say a few words, but it's an honor and a privilege, General, to introduce you.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. And Secretary Hagel, thanks very much for, and by the way, that was not me jumping out of that airplane. I just want to clarify that. But Secretary Hagel, thanks very much for those kind words and that introduction, and special thanks for the fantastic video that the Atlantic Council team put together. I certainly need to hire some people from your research and media departments to handle my future public relations, perhaps CENTCOM's information operations program. Mr. Secretary, you are a man who I deeply respect and admire, and I enjoyed our time serving together and serving our country. Your very kind words in the video mean a great deal to me, as does the honor of receiving this award that you bestowed upon me this evening, which I accept on behalf of the wonderful men and women serving our nation throughout the Central Command area of responsibility and globally from United States Special Operations Command. Council Chairman Governor John Huntsman, Jr., President Fred Kempe, it's a great honor to be invited to one of the premier centers of excellence for constructive leadership and engagement in international affairs. It's an even greater honor to be selected for recognition here tonight, and I'm humbled by this honor and the company of the awardees that I share it with. The Atlantic Council provides a unique forum for exploring and debating the many issues that influence and shape our broader national foreign policy trajectory, a role all the more critical given the security trends we bear witness to across the globe generally and in the greater Atlantic security community more specifically. Your efforts to analyze, study, and socialize these dynamics shape and influence the dialogue on defense and strategic issues in a profound manner, providing valuable insights and contributions to matters of utmost importance and consequence. No matter if you are an analyst, a researcher, a fellow, or a policy practitioner at the Atlantic Council, your contributions matter to furthering our national dialogue on defense and strategic issues. And after 33 days as a CENTCOM commander, I can tell you unequivocally that I will need your help. And I look forward to our continued interaction. CENTCOM is a region where there is little chance of a home run, where our vital interests collide with multiple conflicts, confrontations, and situations, where our daily challenges are affected by long-simmering and deep-rooted issues that influence the region and indeed spill across our bureaucratic boundaries to have a global effect. We need the Atlantic Council to keep playing its nonpartisan role in helping us think through and address our most pressing security problems. Thanks to all of you for what you do every day. Now, I am aware I am the fourth of what I understand is a fairly long list of speakers tonight, all of which will have very memorable remarks. What I would like you to remember the most about my remarks this evening is that I will be brief. In my confirmation hearing for my position as a CENTCOM commander, I briefly reflected on what I learned in 20 months as the Special Operations Commander, and I touched on 3 areas, and I'd like to share those with you this evening. First, I learned the importance of taking full advantage of the authorities granted to combatant commanders. Leaders must be willing to press within their authority and capitalize on opportunities as they see them. Second, I learned that as a combatant commander, I must have relationships built on candor, confidence, and responsiveness. These attributes are imperative to provide transparent communication up, down, and laterally throughout large organizations. Transparency underpins an organization's credibility and allows it to optimize human capital by creating shared awareness. The best ideas are born from diverse, informed people across the depth and breadth of an organization, and it is the role of leadership to seek, hear, and implement those ideas. Third, and most significantly, I learned that people are our most important resource. They are the ones who make an organization what it is, and they are the ones who make leaders like me look good and succeed, oftentimes in spite of ourselves. They come into our services from across our great country, bearing the values instilled in them by their parents, their teachers, their coaches, their communities, and they prominently display them at every opportunity they have. They are incredibly innovative and imaginative, and as we wrestle with a plethora of complex challenges across the Central Command region, it is clear to me that while great weapons systems and technology will enhance what we do, it is the uniformed service members and their civilian teammates and their ideas that will ultimately be decisive. They are courageous and they serve selflessly. They don't do it for glory, and they certainly don't do it for money. And they don't have a lot to gain for it, and as many of us have seen today, the price has to be paid, and it is willingly paid by their service to our country. They do it because they know that if they don't, it simply won't get done. Their commitment is truly inspiring, and it has been the greatest privilege to serve these men and women for the last 36 years. And it is again on their behalf that I accept this award. Thank you very much for honoring them this evening.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Artistic Director of the Washington National Opera, Ms. Francesca Zambello.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. It is a pleasure and an honor to be here. Thank you so much, Fred Kempe and Adrian Arsht, for inviting me to introduce the next recipient. I feel actually a little overwhelmed right now in this group, even though at the opera at the Kennedy Center we are presenting the Ring Cycle right now. This feels even bigger. This is an amazing group of individuals and awardees, and we are honored to be part of it here. Opera many of you probably don't really know, but we are actually a very great UN. We come from every country in the world to work together to make music and theater. We perform in practically every country in the world right now. And I think we're really special because we break down borders that I know so many of you are working to break down as well. But somehow we often, through art and culture, have a passport into different places. And the next awardee is someone who has really reached all corners of the world. Vittorio Grigolo, who is a native of Tuscany, began his career in the Sistine Chapel Choir 26 years ago. He's only 27 now. He has performed principal tenor roles around the world in all of the major opera houses, but he has also performed in places like China, Russia, many of the Arab nations, and Africa. His music and voice can be heard on a Grammy-nominated recording of Leonard Bernstein's West Side Story. He also has done his own debut album, which has soared to the top on a gold and platinum selling level. But what's more is Vittorio works to make performances accessible to wider audiences and to new generations of opera and theater goers. He was recently seen in the Metropolitan Opera's worldwide broadcasts of La Bohème as Rodolfo, Chevalier des Grieux in Manon, and the title role in Les Contes d'Hoffmann. He strives to share his musical knowledge with the next generation of performers by offering very profound and deep master classes. A little secret about this guy, too, is that he rebuilds Porsches. You can see him afterwards for that. Clearly, his talents are very wide-reaching, and so it is a pleasure and an honor to present to Vittorio Grigolo this evening's Distinguished Leadership Award for his extraordinary talent, not only as an artist, but in his deep commitment to communicating music to wider audiences. Vittorio, vieni.
Should I give it back? I don't know. I just received it, and sounds incredible to me. Thank you for welcoming me here in this incredible town that gave me home and a home and a theater in 2007 when I came here to do my debut in the role of Rodolfo La Bohème, Che gelida manina. I remember that day. I remember the study. I remember everything of this incredible town. I don't know what to say. It's me here. I mean, I've seen him behind, and it seems so glorious, and it is glorious because you're giving importance to communication when there is a time that there are no communication, and I think that it's important to share what we know and what is the best in the world. And you are recognizing here tonight, giving excellences all over the world, and especially in many fields. Army, Larry, Mr. Kravis that I know in private equity, and music, all corners. And this is incredible. I think that music has an extreme power that is held behind. And I'm not a great talker. I do better when I sing, and so I do apologize. And I don't know what to say. It was the prize. Sing, yes. The prize was beautiful, and I'm really honored and thrilled. And I would like to dedicate it to all the people that believed in me when I was a little kid, when I start this hard career, when I found my teacher that broke my first CDs. I was singing Mario Lanza like a crazy guy. I remember I came to my first lesson singing, "Be my love, keeps burning." And he said to me, "Oh, okay, it keeps burning. We're gonna break this CD." Because I said, "But no, what about Mario Lanza? What about the technique and, all the high notes?" And he said, "You need to empty the cup, kid." Because my cup was so full of what I've seen around me, what those great masters before me, and I was so excited, and I had it already all in my head. My head was full of them, and I couldn't learn. So he said, "No, when you come to me, to my teacher, you need to empty the cup. We need to start zero. You need to be a white canvas in order to let me show you how it's important and how you have to paint on it with your voice." I started, and I'm here tonight. I don't want to be too long. And I hope one day you will all come to see a performance, maybe at the Met, maybe in Washington, or maybe in another country, because you are connected. The Atlantic Council and all of you are connected with the entire world. That's what I learned tonight from the speeches of the other people. And connection is important through communication. And I do believe that communication is something that has to arrive each one of you. I do it by singing, but each one of us do it in our own life every day. And I think it's important to understand that to communicate something is a way we want the people next to us to feel how special they are. So I thank my family, my mom, my dad, and since I was a little kid, they put all what they had, the money, the thoughts. They really think, and I think that I might be someone or do something good in the future. I think I'm trying to do my best. And I would like to thank also the beautiful girl that I met and is enlightening my heart and my singing. So far they say that since I met her, I sing even better, so good for you. In Italian, his name is Beatrice, so it means that, Beatrice, Dante has his own Beatrice. All the time she said to me, "Oh, in my life I heard the Dante thing, and, stop it." So it's fine, I will stop it. Otherwise, tonight, it's not going to be too long for me. So thank you so much again, and to welcome me and give me this award. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back to the stage Atlantic Council Chairman, Governor John Huntsman, and Atlantic Council President and CEO, Mr. Fred Kempe.
Vittorio, congratulations, and we're delighted that Vittorio has consented to do a short performance for us at the end of the dinner. So thank you so much for giving us that gift.
So glad it's not you, Fred.
Later. Yeah. Thank you so much. Vittorio. Arrivederci. Governor Huntsman and I would like to recognize this evening's co-chairs, without whom tonight's dinner and so much of the Atlantic Council's crucial work would not be possible. So hold your applause until all of our co-chairs have been named and have joined us on stage. Kurt Amend and all of you can start walking up, and we'll introduce you as you're coming on. So Kurt Amend of Raytheon, Adrian Arsht, founder of the Adrian Arsht Latin America Center of Total Bank, Tewodros Ashanafi of Southwest Holdings, Emily Beiser of JP Morgan Chase, Rafik Bisri representing Baha Hariri, Thomas Blair, Hakan Bushka of Saab Group, Melanie Chen, Richard Edelman of Edelman, Thomas Enders of Airbus Group, Kate Friedrich of Thomson Reuters, C. Boyden Gray of Boyden Gray Associates, Mehmet Nazif Gunal of MNG Group, Marillyn Hewson of Lockheed Martin, Ed Holland of Southern Company, Karl Hopkins of Dentons, Miroslav Hornak of PSJ, Joa Johnson of Haynes Brands, General Jim Jones of Jones Group International, Maria Pica Karp of Chevron, Nazik Keen of SAIC, Henry Kravis of Kohlberg Kravis Roberts, George Lund, Alexander Mirtchev of Rusi, Mary Claire Murphy of Textron, Franco Nuschese of Georgetown Entertainment Group, and Franco, thank you also for Vittorio Grigolo. Amit Oren of Ilhas Holding, Alan Pellegrini of Thales, USA, Robert Schultz of Kraus Maffei Wegmann, or if you're German, Wegmann, Laura Favinger of Zurich, and then not in the stage but in the audience, and General Scowcroft, we aren't going to sing happy birthday to you this year. We didn't think we should do it 2 years in a row, but happy birthday anyway. Brent Scowcroft of the Scowcroft Group, please join me in a round of applause for all of our co-chairs.
Now, everyone, please enjoy your dinner. We'll be back in just a short while for our 2 remaining honorees. Thank you and enjoy the evening.